Hi everybody, I'm George Riles at Last Chance Arch, and it's time for another thing a week. But before I get into that, I want to go over a couple things. One thing, only 16% of you that are watching these videos are subscribed, and it helps us out a lot if all of you would subscribe, and it benefits you to subscribe because you'll get a notification when the next video comes out. So do us a favor, take a second, click the button. Okay. Also, you can get lessons from me if you go to improvemyarchery.com. I do online lessons which work great. I can also do in-person lessons, and you can come to my shop and get lessons there with me. Improvemyarchery.com. You can go there, look at my calendar, see when I'm available, pick a time that makes sense for you, and I'll see you when you get there for your lesson. So you can also get a seminar from me. I can come to your shop or local archery club, put on a weekend-long show. It's a great way to get a lot of customers in your shop and get everybody energized about archery at the same time. So all you got to do is contact me through the website there at improvemyarchery.com, and we can talk about a day or a date that works best for you. So that all being said, here we go for another thing a week. So today's tip, I'm going over basic recurve, and this particular bow here has been in my shop for 15 years. It has had a gazillion arrows shot through it by beginners. Every Saturday we have like beginners classes to come in and people shoot the bow for the first time. One of the most common things with beginners is how to keep the arrow on the rest. If you've ever shot one of these, and most people have shot one of these if they shoot archery, they've started on something kind of like this. But the big problem is when people, I'm not going to shoot you, Jonathan, just hang out. And when people go to pull the bow back, the arrow falls off of the string and they're wanting to, right? And they're trying to keep the arrow on, right? And that's one of the hardest things that people deal with. And they want to put their finger up and draw the string back. But when you put your finger on, you see the arrow falls off. And also, if you put your finger on it or hook your finger over the arrow, you end up breaking the little blade off of the arrow rest here. So you got to be careful with that. So keep your fingers off of the arrow. And here's how to fix this thing. The reason that it happens is because when people want to pull something, they naturally want to use their hand as part of the pulling force. So when I put my fingers on the string, whether if it's underneath the arrow, you see that'll lift it off of the rest, or if I'm split finger, that you see it'll come off of the rest. And what that comes from is by me using my hand, grasping and using hand strength to pull the bow back. So if I pick it up and go to pull it back, you see that little bit of a grasp with my hand knocks the arrow off the rest. Here's the fix for that. When you hook your fingers on, and instead of compressing your fingers like this, right, let your fingers stretch out and be as long as they can. And you see, I can still maintain the hook with my fingers stretched out. And what I do, once my hand is fully stretched out, I make sure that I leave those fingers still when I pull the arrow back, right? So you see the arrow easily stays on the rest when I draw it back like that. But if I pull it halfway back and then grasp a little with my fingers, you see it falls right off. So that is how, with your fingers as straight as you can, and put them on the string and then let your hand stretch like this. So when you draw the bow back and then anchor, it stays right where it should be, okay? So keep your hand straight and leave it still as you draw, and that will keep the arrow on the rest. The next video that I'm gonna do is all about hitting your arm. Every time somebody sees me wearing an archery shirt or something like that, and I go out to dinner, where they go, oh, archery, and the first thing they do is point to their arm, and they tell me about the time that they tried archery in camp and they hit their arm. So I'm going to go through next week and show you how to pull this bow back and shoot it without hitting your arm. So I'll see you next week for another thing a week.